What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video. So WrestleMania is roughly, I want to say, 2 months away from now, up and stuff like that. And I want to try to predict the WrestleMania 41 card um, months in advance. And as we get closer to WrestleMania, similar to how I did with the Elimination Chamber, we're gonna see how spot on I was or how far off I was with a lot of these matches. Now, this is a quick disclaimer: I'm not having it be set up as a night one and night two and what matches are going to take place on that. I just have it as one full card. The fans, if you guys or my subscribers, if you guys want to try to put these matches that I have um, and put these matches in a night one and night two category, do so, and I will go and check it out and stuff like that. So I'm gonna I have it all on my other screen that I kind of just thought about it, kind of just reflected on, and kind of seen how WWE's been taking place over the last few weeks, and kind of trying to plan how this card could potentially coming out to be. So I'm going to just be picking matches at random. The first match, I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, but I think we're gonna add a stipulation to it, and I think it'll be a no holds barred street fight. I feel like one of these matches on the card of WrestleMania is going to have some type of stipulation, and I do think this could be one of those matches that could be just that. And also, there's a story to it because now we're seeing Drew McIntyre where he's on his redemption arc. He's trying to redeem himself from the past demons that he has faced. And what better way to start off that when he's trying to go after the bloodline, right? That is the ultimate goal that he's trying to get to. But on top of that, you could start off with, him going after Damian Priest. Because if you think about it, Damian Priest cashed in on him last year to become World Heavyweight Champion. And this would be a great way to get Drew McIntyre his his win back and then set him up to go back after the bloodline as well. So now he is redeeming himself from his past demons, and then you can move forward with him there. So I think this would be a great way to kind of have these two be involved at WrestleMania, and plus they have a little bit more history recently with the Royal Rumble when Drew McIntyre was eliminated by Damian Priest. So you automatically can use that as fuel to the fire to set that match up come WrestleMania. The next match we're going to talk about is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I think Lyra Valkyria is going to go in as champion, and I think she'll be taking on her toughest task to date, and returning Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch is going to come back, and I think she's going to insert herself in the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And this can really do wonders for Lyra Valkyria because she's already beaten Becky Lynch before to become NXT Women's Champion. But not many of the fans that are going to be in attendance for WrestleMania probably know about that. So this would be a great way to get Lyra Valkyria over in the grand scheme of things by having her in the ring with one of your top stars. And it also could be a reminder that Becky Lynch is back, and this could be maybe she comes back as a heel or something. Maybe she comes back with a different character. I know there were rumors that she wants to come back with a different character and stuff like that. So this would be a great way to reintroduce her and then have these two go at each other for the championship. So I think this match is going to be really, really good. Now, the next match we're going to talk about is Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. I think this is the match that they're going to go with at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens took out Randy Orton a while back with the pile driver, and he's been using that pile driver ever since, seems to be. And I feel like they're going to set that up because I feel like we're going to get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber, and I think during that match we see Randy Orton make his long-awaited return to help Sami Zayn by costing Kevin Owens the match. Therefore, Sami Zayn can go off and do his own thing, which we'll be talking about in just a second. But then you rehash that feud with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens going into WrestleMania as well. And this will be a great way to keep Kevin Owens in the limelight, even though he's not in a world title picture. They're still trying to do right by him. He recently did sign a WWE contract for 5 years. So this would be a great way to keep him in a big, high-profile storyline, even though it is not revolved around the championship. So the next match we're going to talk about, since we were talking about Kevin Owens, we're going to talk about his opponent from Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn. Now this one is not going to be one that a lot of fans are going to be okay with, but I'm going with Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. The reason why I think these two are going to face each other is simply because Karrion Kross has been targeting Sami Zayn, and the whole thing with Karrion Kross is his whole arc is to be the devil on people's shoulder. So he is pretty much targeting Sami Zayn, and maybe this does lead to potentially him turning heel at some point down the line. We don't know, but this could be a great way to get Karrion Kross over in the grand scheme of things as a singles competitor. Now that we have seen the unfortunate release of the AOP, so now it's back to being Karrion Kross and Scarlett. So maybe this would be a great way to get Karrion Kross back on track as a singles competitor and stuff like that. So I think this will be a great way to have this match, and I think they're going to continue setting things up, having more teases and stuff like that as we do head into WrestleMania. So that's what I'm going to go with. The next match I'm going to be talking about is Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. The whole thing with the bloodline right now, this new version of the bloodline is starting to crumble, and you can tell, you can see that Jacob Fatu has become more unhinged. He hasn't really been answering to anybody. He is his own man, and pretty much you're seeing that. And we've seen Solo Sikoa make his return, and it looks like for the time being, everyone's back on the same page. But I don't think it's going to be as long as we may think, because I do think at some point in the lead up to WrestleMania, we're going to see Jacob Fatu and Solo come into the ring together. It looks like everything is back on the same page, but Jacob Fatu turns on Solo. Therefore, Solo might become a babyface again, and Jacob Fatu elevates himself to a bigger heel. And then his whole reason is because you were supposed to be the tribal chief. You had the Ulafala, but you lost it. So now he doesn't look at him as the tribal chief anymore. He just looks at him beneath him and as an equal and stuff like that. So now it proceeds Jacob to want to go after Solo and stuff like that. And then that proceeds to spin off into a feud heading into WrestleMania. The next match we're going to be talking about is a ladder match for the Women's United States Championship. We have the champion Chelsea Green going in with Piper Niven, defending up against Piper Niven versus Zelina Vega versus Mia Yim versus Naomi versus B-Fab versus Alexa Bliss. The reason I think we are going to see a women's ladder match for the U.S. Championship is simply for the fact that if you look on SmackDown, you're having multiple people that are surrounding the Women's U.S. Championship right now, right? You have B-Fab, who's in the hunt to try to get a title opportunity. You have Mia Yim, who had a recent opportunity at the title, but Chelsea Green got herself DQ'd to keep the title. Then you also got to think Zelina Vega, now that she is on SmackDown, you want to try to elevate her. You want to try to give her an opportunity to see if she can stand on her own. I think the fans really want to see her become a champion at some point. And now that she's no longer with LWO and is on her own again, this would be a great way to finally give her that championship win and in front of a big crowd nonetheless. Then you also have to worry about Naomi, because, I do think there's a possibility she is the one that turned on Jade Cargill, but in this scenario, I don't think it's her. I think she is pretty much the fall guy, right? She's pretty much the one that's painted as the one that did it. But we were going to talk about that in just a second. But I do have Naomi still in this. And then you have Alexa Bliss. I think Alexa Bliss needs something to do for WrestleMania. A lot of people were saying maybe it's Alexa and Liv Morgan. But I don't think that's going to be the case, only because I just don't see it happening, only simply because you just sent Alexa Bliss over to SmackDown and Liv is over on Raw, right? Now, can they still do a inter-brand type match? I think so, but I just don't see it happening this year, unlike last year, because if they would probably be already planting seeds for it. Maybe we do see some seeds be planted in the chamber, and then maybe we could probably set up a match potentially between those two, because I think that match could be really good. You have two of your best workers, and I think a lot of people don't really give Liv Morgan the credit when it comes to being an in-ring worker. She's been very impressive in the ring. She's improved a lot. But I'll talk about Liv Morgan in just a second. But I do think uh, Alexa could be in this match, and she is gonna have some great spots in this match. And I think all of these women could really have some good chemistry with each other, with this being a ladder match for the U.S. Championship. So we will see. On to the next match we're going to be talking about is Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. This is definitely going to happen. We've seen at the Royal Rumble CM Punk eliminate both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins from the Royal Rumble before getting eliminated by Logan Paul, which we'll talk about in just a second as well. So I think what's going to happen is, and we've seen afterwards, Seth Rollins, he pretty much went berserk, right? He curb stomped um, Roman Reigns not once but twice. He curb stomped it. Seemed like he curb stomped him once with both of his feet, which was kind of crazy. But then he went on to curb stomp him again on the steel steps, writing him off for the time being. We know those two are going to have some interaction when they come back, and you still have CM Punk in the mix as well. So I do think, and plus Seth Rollins did try to and then end up fighting CM Punk at the Royal Rumble as well after he did take out Roman Reigns. So you know those three are probably gonna be intertwined with each other going into WrestleMania. The next person we're gonna talk about, the next match, we were just talking about him. We're gonna have Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I realistically feel like they are going to set this match up, right? I don't know how they're going to set it up um in the eyes of WWE, but I think that they are, because I feel like AJ is coming back and he's going to be on Raw. Logan Paul's on Raw, right? You could put two of your best wrestlers in the same ring and just let them go at it. Let them have maybe like a 10-15 minute match and let them cook. We know AJ can really cook. Hopefully, I really hope that he can remain healthy and he does not get injured in this match, because I'm happy that they brought him back at the Royal Rumble. And I was also glad that they brought him back with this OG theme. They didn't bring him back with the "you don't want" now. I'm glad they didn't bring that back, but I'm glad that they brought him back with his OG theme and him being his own character again, which I am not mad at all. So I think those two are going to be intertwined. I think maybe we set something up with the chamber, and that's how we set these two up potentially. Maybe we could see. I know at the time of recording this video, we are gonna have a qualifying match with Rey Mysterio and Logan. Maybe AJ Styles does come out and maybe makes the save, allowing Logan Paul to lose and allowing Rey to advance, and then that's how we set that up. Or maybe even AJ advances and then Logan Paul does what he did with Seth Rollins in their lead up to WrestleMania 39 and caused AJ the match while the referee may not be looking, allowing someone to pin AJ and eliminate him, therefore setting up AJ and Logan Paul come WrestleMania. The next match we're going to talk about is for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have the Royal Rumble winner, main event Jey Uso versus Gunther. This is going to happen, I think, even though we don't know which championship Jey Uso is going to um, challenge for. It's safe to say that it is more likely going to be Gunther in the World Heavyweight Championship. I just don't think, as much as I would love to see Jey Uso go after the WWE Championship, but I just don't think the WWE are going to do that. I think it's more likely that they go with Gunther, and then we have those two compete at WrestleMania, which I think is going to be a good match. A lot of people are not really too keen on that just because we've seen it numerous times. I'm there with you. I would love to see, Jey Uso face somebody new for the world title, but I just think it's safe to say that it's going to be Gunther and those two are going to have a good match. I don't know if it's going to be the main event or it's going to take some place elsewhere on the card. We will see. But I do think that match is going to happen. The next match we're going to talk about is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. We have DIY versus Pretty Deadly versus Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Lotharios for the tag team titles. So pretty much it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams, 5-way tag team match. I think all 5 of these teams, at least, well, DIY is the champions, but the other teams seem to be surrounding that title. They've been, in recent weeks, we've been seeing multiple of these teams try to get opportunity for the tag titles, and I think it's going to spill over to maybe what's a 5-way match at WrestleMania where all 5 teams are competing for the tag team titles. Maybe it's an elimination style or something along the lines of that. But we will see. The next match that we're going to talk about is for the WWE Women's Championship. We have Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton. I think it's safe to say, similar to like I said with Jey Uso, that Charlotte is going to pick Tiffany. It's a dream match, I think, for a lot of people, including myself. So I think you want to put this match on the card. And this will be just similar to like how I said with Lyra and Becky. this would be a great way to get Tiffany Stratton over as a champion, as an individual. So we will see how that does play out. But you got to think Tiffany Stratton needs a win like this to establish herself that this is the future of your women's division. If she loses, then it's like, well, Charlotte's back on top again. But if Charlotte loses, this does things tremendously for Tiffany as she's champion and as an individual, even after she's a champion, because then she's going to be looked at in the same conversation as those other women that are above her in the main event scene. And now you can add her to the main event scene now that she has got a win over one of the most dominant women in your women's division. So I think they're gonna definitely have this match at WrestleMania. The next match is for the WWE Tag Team. No, not the WWE Tag Team. The World Tag Team Championships. We have the New Day versus the Viking Raiders. I think it just makes sense. They haven't really built anybody up to this point to face the Viking Raiders. I know you have other teams like American Made, Alpha Academy, 8 Time Down Under, and stuff like that. I just don't think they have built them up. I just think with the Viking Raiders being faces, you want to have them face heels, and two of those teams are heels, but I think it's most likely going to be we're seeing Viking Raiders defend against the New Day, the most hated heels right now in the WWE, facing some of the biggest baby faces in the tag team division. Let those two cook. I think those two can have a good match. I don't think they faced each other before, though, in my personal opinion. Comment down below, let me know if I'm wrong. But I do think we are going to see these two face each other. These two teams face each other at WrestleMania. The next match that we are going to be talking about is for the Intercontinental Championship on the men's side of things. We're going to have a fatal five-way for the title. We're going to have Braun Breaker defending against Penta, against Sheamus versus Pete Dunne versus Louis Kaiser. All of these names have been wrapped around the Intercontinental Championship scene. We've seen at Survivor Series, we've seen him defend the title against Louis Kaiser and Sheamus. We recently just seen him defend the title against Sheamus at Saturday Night Main Event. And I do think the plan is still to potentially try to put that title on Sheamus at WrestleMania. I think that's what they're trying to build to. But you can also put stack the deck up against Braun Breaker because he's been booked dominant as champion and stuff like that. And we recently did see a tease for him and Penta, so I think they're going to incorporate him in that match. We also have, Sheamus in that. There's no love lost there. Same thing goes with Louis Kaiser, who's still trying to get that title. So he can be seen as an equal to Gunther if he's going to be world champion and stuff like that. And you still have Louis Kaiser as Intercontinental champion. And then Pete Dunne, he's kind of going to be in the mix as well because you want to give him something to do. And you maybe could even throw in maybe either Dragunov if he's back in time or even a Tyler Bate if he's back in time. We don't know. But I think that could be the way that they do decide to go about it. I think there's going to probably be multiple multi-man matches at WrestleMania because I think WWE is trying to not only book the show, but they're trying to get as many people involved as they possibly can. So I think that's kind of one of the philosophies that they're going to try to go with for WrestleMania this year. But the next match that we're going to be talking about is two members of the Judgment Day. We're having Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. They have been planting seeds with this match for a while. We're starting to see the decline of the Judgment Day. We're seeing, Dominic starting to get fed up with the way Finn Balor is talking down to him. And it could really go either way of who's going to be the face in this scenario or who's going to be the heel. It seems like Dominic has kind of just been getting some cheers here and there over the recent weeks, so it's a possibility that they decide to go with Dominic. But I think Dominic turns on Finn, Finn becomes a face again, and Dominic remains a heel because I just think Dominic just thrives as a heel, and I think he's one of those type of wrestlers that I can see forever being a heel and stuff like that. But I would not mind Dominic being a face. It's just how they go about it is my personal question, and if they're going to do it in a sense of, okay, I can buy in to Dominic as a face. You know what I mean? That's the real question that they're going to have to really deal with if they're going to have Dominic turn face. But I do think this match is going to happen. I think you can probably have these two go out there and have a banger match and have the story tell itself and stuff like that. That the decline of the Judgment Day is finally arrived and it's definitely bigger than ever. I think that's the story that they're going to probably go with for WrestleMania. But y'all comment down below. Let me know. Do you guys think we're gonna get Finn Balor versus Dominic at WrestleMania? The next match that we're gonna talk about is for the U.S. Championship. We have Shinsuke Nakamura defending the title against Jimmy Uso, against his LA Knight, against Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. Similar to like these other matches, all of these guys have been wrapped around the U.S. Championship in some way, shape, or form. Andrade trying to get that title. Carmelo's trying to build himself up to get that title for sure. Jimmy Uso trying to follow in the same footsteps as his brother with um, Jay going after the world title. Jimmy's made it very clear he wants to become a singles champion as well, and I think the story makes all the sense in the world for him to be in there, for him to finally potentially get his first singles gold, and then you can have that visual like I've been saying like for a while now. You have the visual of Jay Uso's world champion, Jimmy's U.S. champion, and then I think that'll be a great, wholesome, emotional moment. Just because 10 years ago they were tag team and stuff like that in 2015, nobody would have thought 10 years later these two would have been able to break away and elevate themselves as big as they have been able to, and on top of that becoming singles champion, especially for Jay becoming a world champion and Jimmy Uso being able to become a singles champion in his own right. So I think that'll be a great moment as well. So the other match that we got to talk about that's going to be happening is Jade Cargill versus Bianca. I think Jade Cargill is her return. It's going to be happening sooner rather than later. I think they are definitely. I think the last time I heard anything about Jade Cargill is that she has been at the Performance Center pretty much a lot. So I feel like with her being at the Performance Center as much as she has been, that just lets you know that her return is near. So I do think probably in the lead up to WrestleMania, or maybe at the Chamber, we find out who attacked Bianca, not Bianca, but Jade, and we find out it's Bianca, and then Bianca and Jade have their match at WrestleMania. Because I think on top of that, I think that's just the match that they're gonna go with. And plus, she's tag team champion, so maybe she does lose the tag team titles in the lead up to all that. Maybe to like a Nia Jax and a Candice LeRae or something. I think that's probably what they'll do something along the lines of that. And also, I don't have the women's tag team titles on my Mania card. I just feel like one of those titles is probably gonna be defended on the SmackDown before, and unfortunately, I just think that's gonna be the match that's gonna happen on the SmackDown before. So, um, yeah, I do think Jay Cargill and Bianca is going to happen. I think these two can be a really good match. And I think it'd be compelling because now it could show that Bianca is still the Bianca of old, where she could still be in that main event scene and she could prove why she deserves to still be in the conversation, why she still deserves to be in the conversation as becoming a champion again. So I think that's kind of the route that they could go, and also building up Jade Cargill as well to show her dominant side as well. And you could even do multiple ways with this. You can have maybe Jade Cargill fake the whole thing and then she turns on Bianca. I think that'd kind of be cool too. Because I just feel like maybe for me, Jade Cargill as a face hasn't really done it for me. I'd rather see her as a heel like she was in AEW, and you just let her AEW side of her character come back and incorporate that into her in WWE. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing to do. So we will see how that does play out. Um, but the next match that we're going to talk about is for the Women's World Championship. I have Rhea Ripley defending the title against Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. I think these three are going to compete for the title at WrestleMania. At first, a lot of people will probably be saying, well, I think it's more likely it's going to be Rhea and Io, which is understandable, but I just don't think that they're going to incorporate her in the chamber, however, just because we already know that they're going to be doing Roxanne Perez and Raquel, so that's going to be one match. We're going to have um, Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. That's going to be another qualification match. And then we're also going to have Naomi on SmackDown and Chelsea Green. So those are going to be the other three qualification matches. So it's like, what do you do with Io? I think what you do is decide to have Io and Rhea at the Chamber, and I think those two can have a good match because I think they're going to want to have a singles match outside of the chamber. I think that's just kind of what they do. Because you remember last year when they did the chamber, they had Rhea defend the title and stuff like that. And then we still had the women's elimination chamber match. So I think we're going to see her defend the title against Io. They're going to have a good match. Don't get me wrong. That match is going to be really, really good. And then I think it's going to end in some wonky finish to prolong the feud heading into WrestleMania. And then I think Liv does win the chamber. And then that sets up those three at WrestleMania. Or, like I said, what happens is Liv wins the chamber. Rhea, it ends in a wonky finish where Rhea retains. Eel's kind of a little frustrated. As of the point, it's Rhea versus Liv 1-on-1, but maybe Adam Pearce says, well, um, what happens, if you beat Liv in a 1-on-1 match, you get to be added in the match, and I think that's kind of how we set that up as well. But I do think we are going to see Rhea defend the title against Io and Liv at WrestleMania. You just can't have Liv with the year that she had not be in a high-profile storyline at WrestleMania and stuff like that. So I do think she will be part of this match, and I think all three women are going to kill it in the match as well. Not gonna make my prediction on that, but I think it's gonna be a really compelling match with all three. I think Liv Morgan, like I said, her match with Io was really good up until the finish. Those two just have good chemistry. They had good chemistry even back at Saturday Night Main Event. Maybe you still have those two be incorporated with each other as we do head into WrestleMania. So we will see. And the final match that we are going to be talking about for this card will be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. I think John Cena is going to win the Elimination Chamber. I really feel like they're going to have him win the Chamber. He's heavily, heavily, heavily advertised for that show. He's pretty much the poster boy for that show, and I feel like you're going to want to have him win that chamber, set up him and Cody Rhodes. It's just a dream match nonetheless, and I think those two are going to have a good match at WrestleMania. I think the promos that they're going to have and their exchanges are going to be really, really good. Maybe John Cena does bring up the fact that you left the WWE while I stayed here and I tried to be the best that I could, so they could maybe incorporate that into the storyline. But I do think John Cena is going to win the Elimination Chamber. I think it just makes all the sense in the world for him to do just that. And then maybe if they want to keep John Cena as a face, maybe you start to tease more and more and lean in more and more with Cody Rhodes potentially turning heel at some point. But I think that's kind of just how they're going to end up doing that. Or maybe you lean into what John Cena was saying at the Elimination Chamber. Maybe he ends up being a little bit more heelish throughout the promos. Maybe it's a back and forth between both to where the fans, they don't know who to boo and who to cheer. But I think it's more likely they're going to want to cheer John Cena more because they want to see him win that championship. So it might just lead into Cody Rhodes turning heel, or the tides have turned where Cody Rhodes might be displaying more and more heelish tendencies as we do head into their encounter at WrestleMania. But those are my matches that I think are going to happen at WrestleMania 41 this year. Y'all comment down below. Let me know. How do you guys feel about the matches that I came up with for WrestleMania 41? Do you guys agree with the matches? Do you not agree with the matches? Let me know in the comment section down below. Road to 2,000 subscribers. The ultimate goal is 10K by the end of 2025. So let's get to the milestone by the end of this year. I know we can do it as a wrestling community, as a wrestling family. So let's make it happen. Super kick that like button, helps my channel get pushed across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing over on YouTube. Superman punch the post notification bell so every time I post a new video, which is a reaction video, rant video, live stream, any type of video, you could be in a loop of things when I do drop a video and spear the subscribe button. It takes 3 seconds later. They do those 3 things for me. Helps some progression on my channel as well. But with that being said, hope everybody has a great day, great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.